shot for taking your time and answering some questions, bro.
Sweet as.
All good. So we'll go back to the start. You were making beats in primary school, right?
Yeah, bro. Primary since I was at the age of 7.
7. And how old are you now?
17, bro. So a good 11 years now. 11 years.
What made you want to get into that?
My 2 uncles, bro. Fucking yeah, family was basically around, like, you know, they were both around music, and I was just like, I started to take notice of it, and then I saw one of my other uncles making beats, and I was like, oh, I might start making beats just for the fun of it, and then just started off from there, bro.
Yeah. So, is INF your brother, step brother?
Oh, yeah, he's my like uncle, but you know, I just say he's my brother because we like grew up together and stuff.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
So, did he teach you, or were you just in the background observing?
Nah, like sometimes I would ask him. He'd only help me on certain things on Fruit Loops when I used to make beats. Half the time was just, you know, I kind of figured it out for myself.
Yeah. So from that to linking up with EMG, how did that come about?
I'm not too sure really. Like everything just fell in slowly fell into place. Like I just made beats, used to put them on Bieber, and that's when Taylor J from EMG found, like, you know, he's like, oh, like, you know, he noticed my beats, and I sent some beats, and then I just started working with EMG just since then, and then they were pretty much the only ones I ever worked with. And now, since I've worked with them, I've been working with other known artists.
Yeah.
And, you know, yeah.
So tell us about the lab. Who's in the lab? Is that still going on?
Yeah, the lab pretty much is me, Spike and INF, and Mad Music, bro. That's basically it. Us four, mainly doing our own thing and just pushing it to, you know, to where people want to hear our music. So
yeah, so you guys are focusing on solo stuff before you think about releasing a joint project?
Yeah, we're slowly working on an EP with the lab and EMG, so that'll be good to look out for.
Cool. You've been in the studio with Young Sid?
Yeah, no, that was pretty mean. When he first picked me up, went over to the studio, and I was pretty psyched actually. I was like, you know, I'm actually sitting in the studio with Young Sid and Dirty Sish. Sirty was there as well. We're just sitting down, listening to a whole bunch of beats, and they picked some beats. They picked a few actually, and just sat down, had a listen, and yeah, they were just listening to some beats, and when they chose the beats, they're like deciding what to write to them, you know, what kind of beat, trying to get the feel from the beats. I was like, you know, I was sitting there pretty buzzing out because I didn't know that's how they did it. I thought it was just, you know, someone just sent them the beat, and then, you know, back to life they go. Like, you know, I didn't know they actually sat down and talked about the beat, you know. Like, I don't know, you had to like sit down, think of a topic to like write to a beat. I had a whole different way of thinking about how things worked in the music.
So now that you know that, do you like sitting down with the artist and giving your input?
Yeah, I find it a lot more easier, because then mainly for artists who ask for custom beats, because when they ask for custom beats, I prefer it if they came in and actually sat down with me while I'm making the beat, because other than that, I can't really understand what the person will try and say how they want their beat. So if they like wanted particular things in their beat, and I just did it to how they asked for it, but it wasn't in detail.
Yeah.
But that's just how I saw it. Then, you know, it's just a lot of hassle. So it'll be easy if someone came in, they wanted that custom beat.
You had like a couple of songs on the Crowd Gang mixtape.
Oh, yeah.
Were they from that initial meeting or after that?
I sent what song was it? Oh, Where You From? I sent that beat to Dirty Sish like ages ago, and then Young Sid sent me the copy of what they did, and then said they got these of the crowd gang, and I was like, oh yeah, sweet as. And then when I first met up with them at the studio, that's when I gave them Waste My Time, and one with Sesh, Sid, and Cavell.
Is there anyone else in New Zealand that you're working with? Or there's...
Who am I working with? Well, there's not many NZ artists I'm working with at the moment, bro. It's just like mainly international artists.
Yeah, I seen a song that you put up yesterday. What's it called? Shona.
Oh yeah.
That's a mean song, eh? Who's that dude?
Oh, it's my mate Keita, bro. He's worked with a lot of Aftermath peeps, eh, bro? Like, who's he worked with? Like Bishop Lamont, Siege Monstrosity, mainly like a lot of beat producers that are like, where are they? Like, Lions Wonder, Focus, Jake One, DJ Khalil, Talib Kweli, Crooked Eye, you know, it just goes on.
Yeah. You mentioned DJ Khalil.
Yeah.
He's like your favorite dude, is that right?
Yeah, bro, he's like an idol to me, man.
Yeah. Why is it? Just his style, or?
Oh, it's just not mainly his style, just like his input on how he makes his beats. It's like, to say like, if I heard a song, like an old song from like the 80s, I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go sample that now. But with Khalil, it's more like, oh, I heard a song from the 80s, I'll get some people I know to play something similar, and then record it, and then sample what they just played me, you know? So it's like a whole different level for like people making beats nowadays. It's like, it's just, you know.
So instead of sampling the song, he's sort of recreating the feel of the song?
Yeah. Like, he'll have like, or like, you know, he'll just get people to compose a song that he has melodies for himself. Like, so say if he has like a piano in his head, like a melody, he'll play the piano, and then he'll get someone to come play violin, and then he'll get someone to come play drums, and then he'll like use it as a song, and then while it's like mixed down as a song, he'll like go off and sample his own song that he just composed himself, and then switch it up into a whole new beat. So it's like, you know, I don't know anyone who does that. Pretty much, I reckon he's the only one who can do that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Have you tried to dabble in that kind of method to making a beat, like getting people to come in and play an instrument, or?
Yeah, just my mate Ants, bro, just on the guitar. That's about it though. Just me and him on the guitar, and then we just, you know, send beats. We only made one beat, and that was for Fortify. Yeah, that should be coming out soon.
Tell us about you working with Fortify over in Aussie.
He heard of me through he did a song with EMG a while back. I don't think they've released it. But I think when he heard that song, he commented on my fan page on my Facebook, and I was like, oh, and I was pretty surprised, like, oh yeah, sweet as bro. So I added him, and just ever since then. And then when I first added him, that's when we did the track Where I'm From, which is playing on my FM right now. And you know, he wanted a reggae feel, but also hip hop. So I was just, you know, I couldn't think of reggae because I'm not that reggae type of dude. So I just went on YouTube, went crate digging on YouTube. You know, I was going through some Bob Marley, and I found a sample. It was pretty catchy. I was like, oh yeah. So I sampled that, gave it to Fortify. He liked it, and yeah, that was the first song Where I'm From that I did with him.
Yeah. Do you is that your first song on the radio?
Yeah, that was actually my first song on the radio.
How does that feel?
It's pretty amazing, bro. It's like, you know, like a personal feeling. It's like knowing that I made that beat, and there's actually people out there that actually listen to something I made. It's like, you know, it's actually, I don't even know how to explain it. It's buzzy, bro.
Yeah. You mentioned that like when you're digging for samples, you're using YouTube.
Yeah.
That's like the modern way. Is that right?
Oh yeah, I suppose. For me, I find it easiest because I don't know any other place to look for samples, and two, I don't have, you know, the equipment to actually use vinyls and stuff. We got vinyls, like, you know, we got heaps of records, but just got nothing to actually go through the process of actually using the vinyl with the DJ, with the turntable, and, you know, so for me, YouTube would be easier.
Yeah. Tell us about your Terrific mixtape, and what was the point behind that? What did you want to gain from releasing that?
I had people always asking me, like, you know, are you gonna release a beat tape? And I was like, yeah, but I wasn't actually focused on it. I was more just focused on what I'm doing, not mainly the beat tape. But then started getting a few hassles from some people on my fan page, like, you know, just like, oh, I should just release a beat tape. Oh, release a beat tape. It's like, oh. So I was gonna release a beat tape, but it was pretty much just a mixtape with beats that I made. So I suppose it was a beat tape. But anyway, I just got songs of people I worked with, and just pretty much just chucked it on the beat tape, and you know, just went from there and just released it.
What's the outcome been? People feeling it?
Yeah. I actually had a few people that I didn't even expect to download it, and I was like, you know, I was pretty surprised. Like, there wasn't much downloads on the beat tape, but I went to this where did I go? I went somewhere with a few friends, and I heard one of my mates play it on their phone. And I was like, how'd you get that song? It's like, oh, I downloaded your beat tape. It's like, oh, it's true. So like, out of all people, some people, like people I expected, you know, didn't really download it, but the last people I had on my mind actually downloaded the beat tape. So it was, you know, it was pretty cool. Yeah.
What do you use to make your beats?
I've always used Fruit Loops, bro. I haven't changed.
Yeah. Have you thought about changing, or are you just sticking with what you know?
Yeah. I actually contemplated on using Reason, because that's a program that DJ Khalil uses, and I tried to use it. It was too complex for me, so I ended up just rewiring Reason into Fruit Loops. But then I kind of got lazy. I was like, no, I can just find, you know. Oh, I just got lazy. Stopped using Reason, so now I'm just back on Fruit Loops now.
Yeah. I've seen that you're like sending beats to people like J-Rock, Bishop, Lamont. Those are big names. Like,
yeah.
Is that just you grinding, hitting them up on Twitter and stuff?
Yeah, bro, pretty much. It's just like, I wouldn't want to go too far into detail with artists, but yeah, I've actually been emailing a few artists, and like they've been telling me to keep in touch, and or you know, they'll get back to me within like few weeks, because 2 artists were actually interested in using my beats, but the downside was that they were already working on an album, and they already had the albums and beats sus. Oh, they already had beats sus for the album, so they'll say next time round, or like on the next album or mixtape or whatever, they'll most probably come to me for beats. So I was like pretty psyched up about that. But even if they don't, I was like, you know, it's cool as you even listen to my beats, you know, took the time to actually listen to my stuff. It's still a blessing, you know.
Yeah. Who are your like dream artists that you want on your beats?
Dream artists? Mainly just everyone from TDE.
Like Kendrick.
Yeah, Kendrick.
Schoolboy.
J-Rock. All of them.
I'm going to put you on the spot and ask for your top 5 beat makers of all time.
Top 5. Alright. Yeah, my 5th would probably be Sid the Kid from Odd Future. 4th would probably be DJ Premier. 3rd would have to be INF. 3rd would have to be INF. 2nd, what would my 2nd be? Oh, Siege Monstrosity, and my 1st would have to be DJ Khalil. Those are in no particular order.
Have you noticed the amount of new beat makers coming up in New Zealand?
Yeah, I've noticed a few, but not many. The only few beat makers I've taken notice of, like up and coming, would probably be Matt Noble, JM Beats. There's not many really crossed my mind, but I know there's a lot of them out there, but I haven't really seen much of beat makers. Just, you know, that's all I can say really. I just haven't seen much. I haven't seen much beat makers like an NZ, like up and coming, that is.
Yep. Who are your favorite established beat makers in New Zealand?
Established, Has would be my favorite. Has I don't really have a favorite. There's a few. Has and P14. Has and P14.
He's crazy, eh? P14.
He's crazy, bro. Like, when I hear his beats, I just feel like retiring for like ever. It's just an inspiration, bro.
What are your influences? Do you pull it from other beat makers, or?
Mainly, the inspiration I've been getting off lately would either be P14 or Siege Monstrosity. I'll just listen to their beats, and you know, it'll just like give me ideas in my head. Like I'll hear something like, oh, that sounds catchy. I won't copy what they're playing, but I'll find a sound similar. Like say if they used a particular VST or a particular sound that they use like a synth, I'll try and find that synth and you know, just play around with the sounds and get a sound that that's like attractive. And I was like, oh, alright. Then I add drums to it and so on and so forth.
Yeah. If your style was we'll just say a cocktail, and you had to put bits of other producers in to make your style.
Yeah.
What have you put in to get the SmokeyBeatz style?
I really don't know, to be honest, because my style of beats change all the time. Like it's never just one genre; it's always switching up. But all I can say is Dr. Dre, Shorty Red, and a bit of Ninth Wonder. That's about it. Because the only reason I say that is because whenever I make beats, I tend to like have a West Coast feel, but then and somewhere in the beat I got a Shorty Red feel in the beat. But then also I'm like the drum patterns I use is like Ninth Wonder. Like I'll have the Ninth Wonder type style in my head, but then again it's got like some Dr. Dre like piano in there, and then on top of that piano, you know, I've got like some Shorty Red synth going off it, Shorty Red synth or some 808s in there. So it's kind of like a whole different variety.
What's next for you, bro? Like upcoming projects? What are your goals and stuff?
I got a beat tape. I'm working on a beat tape actually right now. Another one, Terrific number 2. I'll be dropping that in like early May. So I should have a good lineup of artists on that. It'll be the same as the first beat tape, just a whole different, you know, a whole different bunch of artists and a new side of music.
Tell us about you made a dubstep beat.
Oh, I've made a few actually, bro.
Is that something you're getting into?
Yeah, only reason I've been getting into dubstep is because like a lot of people are like a lot of beat makers that I know, or you know, a lot of up and coming beat makers I know, like a lot of them are on hip hop or you know trap or anything under the hip hop category. I was like, I barely know anyone. I don't really know much New Zealand dubstep beat makers. I know there's like dubstep beat makers out there, but in the hip hop community, you know, I don't really know any. So I'm like, I started giving it a try, and I started listening to some Skrillex, and I was like, you know, it just blew my mind away. I was like, I never knew dubstep could be on that kind of level. That's when I just got interested and started, you know, doing remixes, or tried to, you know. So I was like, yeah, it was a good turn point for me. And plus, dubstep gets, for the way I see it, dubstep gets a bit more exposure in New Zealand rather than hip hop. Hip hop always be there though.
Is there anything else you want to speak on, bro? What about your infatuation with the "eat my ass" statement?
I don't even know where they came from, bro. It just popped up in my head, and I don't know. It's just fine. In a way, I know people find it annoying. I'm not trying to like be annoying. It's just, you know, I don't even know, bro. It just came out of nowhere.
I can't lie, bro. It gets me a good couple giggles here and there.
Yeah, I seriously don't know where they came from, bro. That's just a habit. I say it to anyone now.
I'm waiting for the t-shirt, bro. I'll buy one.
Oh, yeah, I'm actually gonna get a few tees printed.
Awesome. Well, thanks for you know, chatting with me, bro.
Sweet,
and
bro.
I wish you all the best.
Thanks, man.
Sure, bro.
All good.